Dude Perfect. They're pretty perfect, aren't they? Dude? I'm sorry. Let me give some context. Dude Perfect popped onto the trending page the other day, and honestly, I realized I've not watched enough of them. So I was curious enough to find out why they were on trending and give it a watch. To put it simply, I witnessed a really well-edited video. It looked like they had some seriously challenging creative editing choices they needed to make, and they pulled them off flawlessly. And that is what I want to talk about. I want to break down the reasons as to why I think this video is a mastercraft in YouTube content. So hey, hi, hello, my name's Hayden Hillier-Smith. I have been a web creator for the past 10 years and a professional web editor for the past 4. And of those 4 years, I've been the editor for Logan Paul, and we have worked on our own understanding on how to make the best web content. Now that's me, and if you're new here, you should subscribe. Well great, that's just the formalities out of the way. Let's just get into the breakdown and editing of Dude Perfect's Corn Maze Nerf Battle. All right, all I need to do here is just press play and... I'm coming for you, Jim! Okay. Already, they've already done something brilliant here. I say this in nearly all of my breakdown videos. The first few seconds are the most important part of your video. You have convinced audiences to click on your video, but now you got to ask permission for them to watch the video. And so, if you start off your video with a big, massive, aggressive whoosh sound effect, that is you, as a content creator, going, hey, you, only focus on this video, only this, don't watch anything else, this only, okay? You say that with that really aggressive whoosh sound effect, and then they establish the feel with that upbeat, funky music. Get your hands clapping, yeah, I'm gonna get you hooked. And most importantly, they are already delivering that promise of the giant maze and reiterating it.
We're Dude Perfect, welcome to Corn Maze Nerf Battle, here we go!
They deliver the promise of the video instantly. You have already been delivered a reason to continue watching this video.
Welcome to Corn Maze Nerf Battle, here we go!
Dude Perfect.
Okay, I actually have a bit of a conflict here. Why would you make the first 11 seconds perfectly optimized, and most importantly, momentum that you can piggyback off of into the next sequence? Instead, they actually end up completely destroying that momentum by literally delaying the next piece of important information with this 8-second logo. It slows down the video and risks your engagement. You're given the first reason to click off. The conflict is though, am I misinterpreting this logo placement? You've got their attention, you've got their permission to watch this video, so you potentially don't need to be as aggressive in editing to keep their attention. So by showing them this 8-second logo, you tell audiences to settle down, sink into their chair, relax, and let these boys entertain you. It means you don't actually have to be as aggressive in your editing. Does this 8-second logo do that? I'm all about optimizing content, and this is a genuine question that I now have. Am I missing something? Do I optimize content or actually trust the viewers to be a bit more settled? What do you guys think? Let's open up that discussion in the comments. Do you guys think this video would have been better with or without that 8-second logo?
Somebody made a Dude Perfect corn maze, so of course we're gonna race it.
This is great. Just setting up context really quickly.
Got my little rover here, the Scoot. I'm a little nervous, to be honest. I don't think this one's gonna happen for me today, but if it does, hey, shock the world.
Not phenomenal with directions, everything's gonna be fine.
These types of character moments are really important for viewers to, well, choose someone who they find most relatable. And most importantly, it's a great way to be setting up their stories in this video. For example, this guy giving the information about his broken foot is great in expressing his limitation and setting him up to potentially fail or deliver a success story by overcoming the limitation and potentially winning. That's a great potential arc that they've set up there.
I'm just gonna kind of do my thing with speed. Goal is to head south. I feel good about it. Also got my watch, has a compass on it.
And same again, these personalities are arrogant and confident, which again sets them up for potentially failing and breaking their arrogance or confirming their confidence. And even here we have these two twins setting up a truce, and so us as a viewer having that little secret, that setup for the twist that the others don't know about yet, also makes this exciting. Each of them have already established a story and arc, where and how they potentially will be at the end of this video. They're not just running into this maze with no expression of their personalities. We now know the context of each of them.
3, 2, 1,
That shot is really important. The gunfight is about to begin. They're about to start shooting at each other. We need a sense of direction and most importantly, geography. You need to establish the space, and it helps make this small shootout sequence more coherent and have better clarity. And they're help maintaining that clarity by the fact that they're even highlighting when the balloon goes out with that animated circle. Not to mention in this story, the guy in yellow who was under a limitation with his broken foot getting the first kill is an already hilarious, relatable, and interesting story for him. He has personally had the most interesting expression of character, and so it's probably better to focus on him and his perspective on this moment. I am personally rooting for him to win.
Sleep on Jonesy!
And oh, look at that. Look at that, come on. They're establishing the geography. Since this is, well, a maze, we're at a massive risk of losing our own sense of direction of where they are. And that's why they made this fantastic visual representation to where they are in relation to the maze. And then with that, this next little sequence is actually one of my favorite parts of this video. And let me tell you why.
I'm coming for you, Jerry! Ah! Hey, get away from me! Get away! Hey! Oh, what a shot! Are you kidding? Hey!
That whole sequence is brilliantly edited. And the reason why is because each shot and cut helps support and motivate the next shot. First, they use this aerial shot to establish the space and the distance between them. The only thing between them is this wall of corn here. We can clearly see that blue is the one closing in on purple. And so as an editor, it would be interesting in how can you build blue's power and dominance in this sequence. And so from this shot, we then continue the experience mostly from blue's perspective. And what's actually interesting here is that sense of direction closing in on purple. And because of that sense of direction, it actually makes cutting to purple's camera of him backing away even more effective, because we're actually continuing in the same forward direction closing in on purple. Blue's direction has taken over purple's space. It's emphasizing that we're closing in on him. This then sets up and motivates the comedic cut of how insane and terrifying blue is when he finally turns that corner and takes the shot. But what is interesting here though, there's actually a break in continuity. It was shown earlier that blue goes around this corner heading down this path. And this shot also shows that there is clearly a wall of corn covering this corner. So it's a little confusing when the next shot we see facing blue, a path appears from out of nowhere. My theory is they captured this specific shot of blue at a different point of the day, but they still wanted to use that shot. And so they held on to that shot and then used it during this sequence. Because we're focused on blue closing the gap and killing purple, we don't notice the continuity error. So that's really effective storytelling, and we've spent enough time with purple and blue. What are the other guys getting up to? That's the same question audiences are potentially asking, and the same question that the creators were asking, which is why we then cut back to, yep, there it is.
Horrible start, but now I'm back in. Let's go.
Yes, 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 yes. I like that. I like that. I like that little use of music there. It's actually interesting that the music got very quiet here. Mostly so we could focus on the dialogue.
Horrible start, but now I'm back in. Let's go.
But that in turn sets up an opportunity for you to aggressively bring the music back in.
I got it.
And most importantly, it re-establishes energy. Everything did slow down a little bit because we had to give out that information. And so that satisfying cuts of the music helps rebalance that energy.
I got it.
Oh, and look at that, look at that. That drone shot is fantastic. It's helping establishing that closing space that red and green have on yellow. That is now setting up some tension because it's setting up a conflict, a fight, a gunfight between them. And so I love the fact that they are setting up that conflict, and instead of giving it to us, they cut away back to blue and purple. They left us on a cliffhanger. We want to know what's going to happen to him. He's now under threat because they're catching up to him, which means they can now get away with the not as honestly interesting moment of blue being the first to win, to get away with purple also crossing that finish line. They chose to cut back in between both of their experiences to maintain and support both of those stories that are completely separated but acting as one. So as purple and blue have now escaped the maze and concluded their story, that now gives us the opportunity to refocus and finally receive the satisfaction on what's going to happen in this gun battle.
Get out of the kitchen, 'cause you know I'm
And
coming.
then great, reestablish the space,
Two balloons together. I'm gonna try and pop them both.
Yep.
bring the music back in.
Heads up. Bad guy. What do you have, a truce?
Ah.
Get him, get him, get him, get him. Got him. Got him. Yeah, Corey. Serious? Yeah, boy, Alliance. Great shot, Corey.
They actually didn't use music during that sequence. For the majority of this video, they have consistently used this really entertaining, funky music to help establish the feel and most importantly, support the entertainment factor. And the music is especially played in highlighting these really interesting victory beats or these very interesting moments of, well, character expression. And so for the moment where red and green beat yellow and they run off celebrating and the music is not played.
Yeah, Corey! Dear boy, Alliance! Great shot, Core!
They have a twin truce!
Is interesting because it actually comes back to Yellow still potentially being the most interesting and relatable personality in this. It's more interesting to represent that feeling of loss and defeat and experience the same emotion that Yellow is experiencing. You can't represent that defeat with this funky music.
Yeah, Corey! Dear boy, Alliance!
The lack of music makes this moment really sad and makes Yellow even more relatable. To establish he had the limitations at the start, but was already beating that limitation and already had that massive head start. We thought he was gonna win, and then for him to lose is an incredibly somber and sad moment. We're experiencing it from his perspective, and as I said, makes him relatable. But the fact that they were disciplined in not having the funky music as red and green celebrated means they can then use it during this comedic moment.
There's 3 going to the finale. There's already 2 here. Y'all might want to not team up and start shooting each other.
Duel. Deal.
You've been searching for. They
Ready, set, go!
got that
Are you kidding? Hey!
They use the music to emphasize the comedy on that, and that is brilliant. It's important to have that discipline of when you use music to highlight an emotion, and their discipline of when is simply fantastic. And there it is. We have 3 winners and 2 losers. Really good storytelling just from a couple minutes. They set up the personalities to have stories, potential arc, and moments where they express themselves and have relatability. They cut between the stories and experiences to help support each other and also build tension and anticipation. And most importantly, used visual guides and images to help us, the viewer, have a consistent awareness of geography and location so it's not incoherent. And on that last note, Dude Perfect, if you're watching this, give your drone operators a raise. Their coverage is fantastic. It's clear that the drone operators proactively made the decision not to get cool action shots by flying around, doing cool circles around them. And I can imagine that was very tempting to do that. Instead, they made the decision to prioritize how they can use their aerial advantage to continually capture basic coverage that clearly defines the space and geography of the area. So this is my open letter to you to support those drone operators and give them a raise because they're doing a fantastic job. But overall, all of that phenomenal presentation meant that this video, as of recording, is #2 on trending and has over 6.4 million views. And from that, I hope my analysis helped you figure out how you would like to present your adventure. But also, is there anything that I missed? Is there something that Dude Perfect did that was highly engaging that went straight over my head? Or if you have a different opinion about my interpretation of this, let's talk about it. This channel is all about curiosity, exploring the ideas and constructs of web production and for you to master your own craft. So, subscribe and I'll see you next time.
Running through the city till I drop.